I don't really think everybody knows what they're about to witness. Burrow is basically the owner of the AFC. He's about to go 4-0 against Mahomes. The Bengals should be regarded as the number one team in the AFC moving forward throughout the next 5 years. This team is legit.
5?
Yeah. Yeah.
Breaking news, Manscaped now sells beard products.
No way.
Yes way. They are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using the code DORMDebate to get 20% off and free shipping.
It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 haircutting lengths, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. While the Beard Hedger is made for any length, it has a special feature for all my bald-faced boys out there. The Hedger has a built-in advanced lift comb technology that allows for a smoother, complete shave.
With 20 lengths at just one stroke of the trimmer, it has never been so easy to look this dreamy. Your face is your first impression, and your beard is your most important accessory, so make sure you have the right tool for the job with the Beard Hedger. The company that helped reduce nicks and cuts on your special place has come to save your face.
So get 20% off and free shipping with the code DORMDebate at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code DORMDebate. Manscaped Beard Hedger. One stroke, one guard, 20 lengths.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dorm Debate podcast. Folks, if your team has made it to Championship Sunday, you should feel very, very lucky. We started out with 4 teams: Chargers, Cowboys, Giants, and Eagles. One remains: Caleb's Eagles. Caleb, give us a little thoughts as to what you're hoping for this Sunday against the 49ers. How are you feeling? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling a little scared of the 49ers?
Oh boy. I'm unlike a lot of Eagles fans where I don't want to rub it in. A part of me was gutted for you guys, Jonathan. I mean, you're not in our division, but still, we wanted to see some more, and my heart goes out to you guys as friends. As an Eagles fan, I'm hype for this Sunday. It's going to be in the link. I respect the 49ers, man. I think, all right, you give the Philadelphia Eagles an underdog story, and they're going to run with it, even if they're the number one. And
they're the number one seed. Why do people keep doing this?
Because I think the media – I sound like a crazy person. I think the media wants the 49ers. It's a lot of superstars. They want a Mr. Irrelevant to go to the Super Bowl, and he's great. Like, that's the thing. I respect respect Purdy a lot. Like, I don't think he's a chump. I'm not gonna go oh, he's a rookie. He's not like that. We won the Super Bowl with backup Nick Foles. Like, come on, anything's possible. I respect the 49ers. I think it's gonna be a brawl. I think it's gonna be really fun. But honestly, I'm still confident in my pick of the Eagles. I was a little more concerned with how the Giants was gonna turn out, and it didn't work out that way. But the 49ers are a great team, and so are the Eagles. Like, you're talking about superstar, they might not be as flashy. What's kind of what I mean when I say the media wants the 49ers. Maybe they don't, but it's like, yeah, they have Kittle and McCaffrey, and Purdy's playing phenomenally. They have Bosa as well, but the Eagles' D-line, I think, is a little overall better than just, like, you look at the stats of Bosa's sacks compared to the rest of the D-line, he's like disproportionately higher, versus the Eagles are pretty evenly distributed at a very high level, because that rotation is so deep. But then you also have guys like Brown and Smith, Sanders. Like, those guys don't get as much clout, if you will, in the social media
Boston
sphere. Scott. And Jalen Hurts, it seems to be people seem to discount his impact on the team. So I think the 49ers are a good team, but I honestly think it's going to come down to a schematic matchup. They're well-coached teams, but I think the Eagles are going to win based off that D-line pressure overall disrupting a lot of things. I think our D-line can go up. I think that's going to be the difference throughout the game. I'm excitedly nervous. I'm not saying it's a sure win, but I can see the pieces that the Eagles can do it more clearly than in other games this season. So I don't know what you guys think, but
they're number one for a reason. I mean, they're a great overall team, very well balanced.
Thank you.
I mean, John and I were talking a couple weeks ago about the draft and how the Eagles have like the ninth pick or something, or even higher. And
Well,
it's
yeah, I
like
think it's because of the
who would
trade with Saints, I think.
yeah, it's like who would you even pick? Like your team's already stacked.
Yeah.
So for the Eagles, they're number one for a reason, and people forgot about that during the bye week, and they didn't play, and actually people thought that maybe they would lose to the Giants, and then they came out and proved everyone wrong. But I will say, Jalen Hurts and his shoulder still a thing to worry about. But yeah, let's get into this matchup a little bit. Let's kind of branch out to John and Jonathan here.
Yeah.
So 49ers Eagles. It will be in Philly. The 1 versus 2 seed. Now, 49ers beat the Cowboys and the Eagles beat the Giants. So while we talk about the 49ers Eagles, Jonathan and John, let's talk about your teams. Let's talk about the end of the season, how you're feeling. Are you feeling positive, negative? I know Giants and Cowboys are kind of two different teams. Giants weren't supposed to be here, but Cowboys were supposed to go farther. So, Jonathan, why don't you start on your Cowboys and how you're feeling about this end of the season and the way it ended in a way that I was pretty shocked by, because you didn't score as many points as I think many people thought. And that's what kind of hurts the most, is you actually had an opportunity to win it. It wasn't more or less like, the ref getting in the way like last year. It was like you had the opportunity and then you couldn't seize it.
Yeah, there's many things about this game. It's disappointing. You're right. The opportunity was there. It was right in our hands, but we just didn't finish. We just didn't execute. It's like telling people, oh, I'm going to get this job. I'm going to get this job. And then you end up not getting it. It's like going on a date with a girl and everything's going so great, but then she ends up not texting you back. That's what it was like. And so there's many things. Dak, he struggled a little bit. Those turnovers were costly. Those 2 interceptions, I would say maybe it was like a 6-point swing, and it turned out to be pretty costly. And Tony Pollard got hurt. Okay, so let me just say this: the Cowboys and Eagles are similar in terms of teams. That's why it's always a battle every time we play. The Eagles are going to dominate the 49ers. The Cowboys should have did that, but number one, Tony Pollard got hurt. It was before halftime he got hurt. He was our best weapon this season. So once he gets hurt, yeah, the offensive plays are limited, and that's what happened. That's why Dak threw another interception, because you're forcing him to or asking him to do more, and he's not used to that. And Zeke is not the same running back as he was a few years ago. This is Tony Pollard's show in terms of the play designs and everything. So once that happened, it was probably going to be tough. Number 2, on a high level, the blame goes on the NFL. Why would you schedule a game on Saturday night for the 49ers, then schedule the Bucs versus Cowboys on Monday night? The San Francisco 49ers got 2 full days to recover and rest up and feel great for that Cowboys game, for that divisional game. And you could tell, I knew that, honestly, I knew this before the game. I didn't want to say anything because I was trying to be positive, but I was kind of scared about that. I was nervous. I was like, I don't know about that. This is when you could tell that the NFL screwed up. The beginning of the fourth quarter. Cowboys were dominating the game from first to third quarter. The defense shutting down the run game. Purdy couldn't do anything. All that. Fourth quarter came. The Cowboys started to get tired. Okay? And why? You asked them to play on Monday night, prime time, and then now you're asking them to play on Sunday. As the 49ers, they got the full rest on Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then they got to play on Sunday. That's a huge advantage in the NFL. I mean, we're talking about players hitting each other all the time. Any day counts. Every few hours makes a difference in terms of how you feel, the soreness and everything. And so that made a huge difference. And even a lot of Cowboys fans are tweeting or even posting on Facebook and all that. The beginning of the fourth quarter, when the Cowboys started to get tired and allowing all these rushes, we're like, oh, that's where the schedule comes in. The NFL made a big mistake in terms of scheduling. I don't know if they were doing it because of the ratings or because of the money. I don't know why. But they made a huge error, and that affected the Cowboys' play. That was a huge component to why the Cowboys lost. Yes, Dak messed up, threw a couple interceptions here and there. But the game was close enough where that schedule made a huge difference. So that and Tony Pollard, I would say the 49ers are probably one of the most luckiest teams in NFL history. because the Cowboys should have won. Everybody knows the Cowboys should have won. Even Jerry Jones knows it. He's sick. Apparently, he's sick. He's sick. He has a radio show he does like every week or whatever. He's not going on there this week because he's sick.
Oh, like he's
He's sick to his stomach.
Wow.
He didn't know what to do. Like what? I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep that night, and so that's why I compared it to, telling people, oh, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this job. I'm gonna get this amount of money. Oh, this girl, oh, she likes me and all that. We had a great first date. She didn't text you back, buddy. That's how it felt. And so.
But do you think maybe the girl just didn't like you? Like, do you think you did something wrong?
No. See what I'm saying? The girl likes you. You can tell
she didn't.
She gives all the signs.
Though. You were just bad at seeing if she did or not. You were bad at judging if she liked you.
No. She gives you all the signs. Believe me. She gives you all the signs she likes you. Believe me. We're not going crazy here. She gives you all the signs she likes you.
That's what you thought.
Then it turns out it was a fluke. That's what it was. It was a fluke. That's what happened to the Cowboys. It was a fluke. And
wait, hold on. The 2 interceptions. He leads the league in interceptions, so that's not a fluke.
Yeah, but like,
how about Turpin?
Tony Pollard.
Did you see Turpin? You had to have seen
Turpin.
Kick return.
Yeah, if he scored.
Dude, no, not if. He should have. I would have scored that if I was at the 40-yard line.
Yeah.
You either bounce it or cut it in. Either way, you score.
Yeah, he should have scored on that.
That would have tied the game.
But Tony Pollard got hurt before halftime. If he had more time, more plays under his belt, he would have made a play.
He definitely would have made a difference, but he wouldn't have made that much of a difference.
Yes, he would.
If Turpin could have done it.
Turpin could have done it, but Pollard would have made it. I'm telling you, we were dominating. Your
offensive line was not dominating.
It was. We were holding the ball for a long time. We had better ball possession into the fourth quarter. We were holding the ball for a pretty long time. And so I'm saying this. The Eagles, congratulations, Caleb. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl once again. And it's sad. It sucks because every time the Cowboys go to the divisional, we've gone multiple times. We just can't get past this round for some reason. I don't know why. And so the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. They're going to dominate the 49ers. Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis. They're going to give Brock Purdy hell. And Michael Parsons, he gave Brock Purdy hell. But then fourth quarter came and started to get tired. And that's scheduling. Eagles are going to win this. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know if I watch the game because both these teams sort of give me a sick feeling. So I don't know.
That's what I was going to ask because I was like, I don't know who Jonathan's going to pick because he doesn't like either of these teams.
I mean, I know we're rivals, but the 49ers and Cowboys have had like playoff beef for the past couple of years. Yeah, well, back to back, yeah. Dang.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. So
okay, so what do you
Eagles gonna win.
What do you think the Cowboys need to do though? Like, give me a summary. Like, give me like 3 of the main things that the Cowboys need to do for next season because this can't happen again.
Oh, Jonathan, you look so sad. I feel so bad. For those listening is defeated. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, the argument is they've won 12 games back to back in back-to-back seasons, so you can't let the coach go. In terms of Dak, there's some quarterbacks out there that have done terrible. Baker Mayfield. We rather have Dak than those guys. So he made mistakes, but he's not crazy bad like some of these quarterbacks out there. So he won 12 games. It's tough to do. So I would say we need another receiver.
Yes.
Okay, yes. That's the thing about the Eagles. Eagles have A.J. Brown. They have Devontae Smith.
Brown and Smith. Like you have. I was thinking this too. Not to cut you off, but like we talked about this earlier on. Like they don't. I mean, Schultz is good too. Although I can't. I texted you guys. I can't explain that. He could have dragged his foot. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he could have easily.
He should have dragged his foot.
And maybe that is. I'm not saying that's why they lost, that they're tired. But no, yeah, I was watching Lamb, and Lamb has improved. I give him a lot of credit. He is the guy there, but without a bigger bodied receiver,
you need Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I was like, they must miss Amari Cooper right now.
I don't know why.
Someone that can draw targets and be a body too, in size.
Yeah, exactly. So like they have A.J. Brown, he's size. Devontae Smith, he's fast. He has the deep speed. And so the Cowboys, we just had CeeDee Lamb, and Dak was throwing it to him like almost every play. So like, and then Schultz was doing okay, but like, we need receivers.
Yeah.
If you want this team, like this team needs to go forward. You need to give Dak more options. That's part of the reason why he's throwing interceptions. He's forcing a lot of the things because nobody's open, but he's just trying to force it. He wants something to happen.
Trying to feed Lamb.
It's not there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, if we have Tony Pollard comes back healthy, then we get a receiver or two. Then then yeah, we should be a little bit more dangerous in terms of offense.
But your offense was
But,
fine. Like
yeah.
the offense wasn't the issue.
It was like the turnovers made.
But what about
the
the defensive line? They didn't get really any pressure at all.
No. Again, the first through the third quarter, our defense was great. The fourth quarter is when the tiredness started coming in, and that's the scheduling. I blame that on the NFL, not the defensive players. They did their job. The NFL scheduled. They shouldn't have scheduled that. Why'd you give the 49ers 2 more days?
This is one of the first times they've ever done that, correct? Like to play
Yeah.
a playoff game on a Monday.
Nobody's ever heard of this.
Yeah, it
exactly.
usually doesn't
It's
happen.
unfair. It's unfair. It's not fair at all. And so, yeah, I was proud of the defense's performance. Micah Parsons, they gave him pressure most of the game, but towards the end, they were tired and they started just running the ball on him. And so that's what happened. It's as simple as that. I think our defense is good. Come back next year, the same, maybe better. If they stay the same, I won't be upset. The offense is what needs a little bit more help. Like relieve pressure off of Dak. Stop letting him force throws. That's why he had a lot of interceptions. And so those 2 interceptions cost us the game. I think that was a 6-point or maybe more 6-point swing. And so it's tough. The Cowboys should win, but the Eagles are going to take care of business and they're going to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, I hope so. I don't want to pile on, but as a rival Eagles fan, what I could see that it needs maybe as an Eagles fan, we could prepare for what the Cowboys maybe should do is a summation of what you said. They need a bigger guy like a Amari Cooper role filled. We talked about it a few weeks ago that Pollard's truly the number one running back. When there was
really saw that.
When there was like statements that Zeke was the one, and we were like, that's like you just watch the games. Pollard's the guy doing a lot of the dirty work. They're both great, but that 1-2 punch was great. But yeah, I actually agree most with Jonathan in the part that losing Pollard was one of the key to I think what's frustrating for one is I think you guys broke the curse of not winning an away playoff game in 30 years. Like you did. And that was part of the price y'all paid. Such a hype moment on a Monday night primetime is like one of the most watched ever. And it was a short week and you got the short end of the stick. Like it sucks. But you got that like record game from Dak. So it's a trade-off. It certainly hurt you guys more. But it was a very winnable game for the Cowboys. They held the 49ers with all their weapons. And with how, Purdy being a game manager and not making mistakes, which is the minimum you ask, held them to 19 points, and a lot of field goals. But it was like the Cowboys it was a winnable game for the Cowboys considering how explosive that offense could be. So I think that's a testament to them losing Pollard, not having that receiving guy either outside of Lamb, because you saw Dak trying to feed it to Lamb when there was no one else, which is like kind of what you should do. And almost like thinking of the Vikings game where, if it's the game on the line, you throw it to your best guy, whatever, and whatever happens. And I don't know. We talked about this being a referendum. Like there was rumors of like this is going to put him on the hot seat, McCarthy, if he lost against the Buccaneers. He didn't. I don't think he should. I still stand by it. But we did, at least on our podcast, we did mention a little bit if this makes you reevaluate Dak moving forward. And I think he's a great game manager, but when you see him not have a strong run game, which before it was Zeke, then now you lose Pollard and Zeke's not producing, we know the Dak that you get, and he's not bad. So it's like I think you start building for the future because you want a higher ceiling, but his floor is pretty consistent despite the turnovers. Despite the not historic level, but how bad the turnovers were this season, y'all still won 12 and something. It's.
I mean, Cowboys don't have an issue like beating really anybody in the regular season. When it comes down to playoffs and you're facing a team like the 49ers or a team like a full Eagles team or something like that, like that's where you see like when it's the same level of like competition. Then
again, it's tough. It's general. That's like a generalization because again, if Tony Pollard was healthy, I believe we would have won the game. Despite Dak's interceptions, it's just on a case-by-case basis. It's just unlucky. That's why I said the 49ers are probably the luckiest team in NFL history. Probably.
But either way, like, isn't it a little – it's worrying that Dak can't even have a passing touchdown in the whole game.
Or his record against winning teams.
Well, he did too, Schultz.
It's not his fault. Yeah, but it's not his fault as well. Like, I mean, yeah, he did the Schultz, but like, again, he needs more offensive weapons. He needs more people to throw to. Jalen Hurts has that. That's why you saw him tear apart the Giants. I mean, like, he proved me wrong. He has that. and he's able to use his feet. Dak used his legs a little bit when he could, but yeah, he's trying to force a lot of those throws, and it's causing the team, it's causing the offense. So I know we always say wait till next year. If they can get another receiver, maybe a deep threat, CeeDee Lamb's not really a true deep threat. If we get another deep threat receiver, then that could change things. So we'll see what happens.
How will you be able to know come playoff time next year if it's the same Cowboys as years prior to maybe a different Cowboys team maybe making a run?
Well, if you have multiple weapons, 49ers, Debo.
But they had multiple
Kittle.
weapons last year. They had Cooper last year and still lost. So if you get your
Or
receiver,
and
you think
then
he'll be
defense,
fine, or?
and then the defense wasn't that great. Again, if we have good defense and then multiple weapons on offense, like the 49ers do, like the Eagles do, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, if you have multiple weapons like that, then we'll be unstoppable. I'll be able to tell that if we come back basically the same team, only just Tony Pollard, and don't really have another true good receiver, maybe a deep threat, then it's probably gonna be the same thing.
And one thing to look forward to, the Eagles won the NFC East, which means there'll be a new NFC East champion. So it's either Cowboys, Giants, or Commanders.
Yes.
So that's one thing to look forward to. You could have a home game to start the playoffs. So
we've won the NFC East many times. We need a Super Bowl. We're tired of the NFC East. We're tired of going to the divisional every year.
It's too easy.
Go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's too easy.
All right.
Let's talk about the other team that could possibly win the NFC East, the Giants. The Giants
We're just
a tough way to end. Wait, it's history. It's history. They haven't. There's never been a back-to-back.
I can't
since,
agree with that because
2003.
I'm by the Eagles. I want the Eagles to repeat. As long as it's not the Commanders, I think we can all agree. That's a win. Okay.
Screw 'em.
I'll let John talk, but I mean, just on a high level, I think it was just execution in terms of the Eagles just came and executed the game plan and did it well. I don't think it was about coaching. So, John,
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, when you watch that game, the Eagles were better in every single position. There wasn't one position that we played better than the Eagles. So the Eagles deserve to win that game, but overall I'm happy with the Giants season, and I think every Giants fan is. And hopefully we want to re-sign Daniel Jones. I'm happy with him, Caleb. You've been asking me about him recently. I didn't like him to start the season, but he's had a good season. I like Dayball.
He's improved.
Yeah, improved a lot. Barkley wants to come back. Daniel Jones said he doesn't know where he's going to be next season, but I don't think he's going to get a job anywhere else, so I think he's going to re-sign with us. I just think the biggest key is getting a receiver. I mean, receivers maybe, because Sterling Shepard torn ACL, he was out. We need receivers. We need to surround Jones with weapons to help him improve his passing game. He did great rushing the ball. We know our rushing offense is good, but getting a guy like Addison or Hyatt out of college, drafting, that's the key, getting one of those two guys, and I think Dayball will do it.
Yeah, I agree, John, and it's crazy. A lot of teams don't realize this. Receivers can make a huge impact on your offense. Look at Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen was average at best before Diggs arrived. When Diggs arrived, everybody's like, oh, Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And so
look at Chase with Burrow.
Exactly, Chase with Burrow. Burrow's a superstar because of Chase. He just throws it to him, and Chase is going to catch it. He's going to catch it. He's going to catch it. And so he's getting all the credit. And Kirk Cousins, he still struggles a lot. But Jefferson makes him look a little bit better.
I mean, but look at Hurts. I mean, he was good last year, but he really wasn't great throwing it last year. Got AJ Brown. Yeah. Nobody talks about how bad he is throwing because he's actually done well. He's putting the ball in good places for AJ Brown. So getting that receiver in, this is the perfect year to get a receiver for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, a lot of great receivers in this draft class. Yep. So yeah, I mean, both Giants and Cowboys, we need receivers because again, receivers are valuable in offense in today's game,
literally,
if safeties and corners on the
if there's a guy like Jamar Chase in the draft, there's not. But if there was, like, receivers are so important. It's not too high to get a receiver. I know the Bengals got him at 4. I was happy with that pick when they got him. I mean, there's no substitute for a Jamar Chase. There's just none.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, plus the chemistry there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. He's like, you need Tua, right? Tua, he wasn't too great in previous years, but Jalen Waddle made him look okay. But then when Tyreek Hill came, that changed the game. He had a great pass rating for a few games and stuff. So yeah, receivers are so valuable, and hopefully teams realize that and stop trying to act like, hey, we can be a running team and all that.
Yeah, I wonder if
I mean, the Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens. Well, yeah. There's been talk about
They
the
haven't gone
Ravens.
fast
They
enough.
say that their whole scheme rewards tight ends a little more and the run a little more, which is why receivers have left Ravens. It's not. It was an interesting take on Twitter I saw, which is where a lot of bad ideas on Twitter, but they were just saying like the reason a lot of great receivers have kind of left the Ravens is not Lamar Jackson, but just the scheme is a little more run heavy. Tight. That's why Mark Andrews does really well there, but receivers don't need as much. But it's interesting. But you're right still. Like you do need that. I mean, it makes me think how maybe I don't know how true this is. Like back in the day, running backs would get huge contracts because a lot of the league, that was the way the offenses were operating, and now. We've talked about this a little bit, but maybe it's not worth putting all your eggs in one basket when that basket's a running back because it's so easy to get injured in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Not that wide receivers aren't, but like of all the major acquisitions of receivers, like I'm at least I'm thinking Diggs, Jamar Chase, not yet, but like AJ Brown, like when you pay these receivers, it opens up your offense so much that maybe having a superstar receiver is the way maybe that's a worthy investment if they have a proven record of being healthy though.
I mean,
I
Aaron
said,
Rodgers had to wait. Aaron Rodgers had to wait a season before he realized that.
Yeah.
You can't do anything without Devontae Adams. That changes the game.
That's true.
Like Caleb, like you're saying with the running backs, I said something before the season trying to give fantasy advice, but Cooper Kupp last season had the best fantasy season ever, and he had the most targets out of any player, any wide receiver ever in a season, and it still wasn't. He didn't even have half as many touches as Najee Harris did last season, and Najee Harris wasn't even the number one running back. So running backs touch the ball twice as much than receivers, which gives them twice as much chances to get hurt. So
yeah, that's true. You would think, that's a really interesting statistic there because talking about production versus and just the wear and tear.
Exactly.
We know off the top, like you're running into 300-pound men like over and over. You're gonna wear down your body, but the receivers, I think it does get into that where you have a history of being healthy because some receivers can. It happens, right? You hate when it happens, but you're right. Maybe that's just a more worthy investment of teams going forward. Not to say Cowboys should have. I don't know if Amari Cooper was the solution to all your problems, but having a guy that's big could do that. Same with the Giants. I mean, the Giants. I think credit to you guys. I don't think anyone saw them doing this well. Despite how it went against the Eagles, like it was a really good overperformance. Like Dayball's first year doing this well with Daniel Jones, who was a question mark before the season for a lot of people. Still for me too. I was kind of just inquiring throughout the season because I was like, I think he's good, but I'm not a Giants fan. I'm not too invested in otherwise as an Eagles fan. So it was it's going to be interesting next year. See what teams move. The Cowboys are really well rounded, and it was such a winnable game for y'all that. I wonder what moves Jerry's going to do. I think you kind of look, it's Jerry's team, Jerry Jones, but ever since Jimmy Johnson, right, like left, like hasn't been a lot of success, and he's been the GM, president, all that. Jerry Jones has. So I don't know, you might be stuck with him, and I don't know what moves he'll make, but we'll see. I mean, as an Eagles fan, I think we'll win. It's going to be a good game though. And I'm not betting against Brock Purdy. Hey, like I said, Eagles underdog city. Brock Purdy's a great story, and I'm glad to see a Mr. Irrelevant get so much attention because it's not meant to be a dig, but I don't know. It is a good story, but I think the Eagles are fundamentally gonna beat them. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I was hoping that Cowboys would shut this up, like Brock Purdy and all that. He's probably the most overrated player I've ever seen in my life.
No,
he doesn't do
you
it.
watch
He literally
film?
just hands the ball to Christian McCaffrey.
No,
he literally
he's
hands the ball
made
to
good
Deebo Samuel.
plays. If you watch the film, he actually
once
does
in a
make
while.
good plays.
Once in a while. Yeah,
once in a while.
But like, why people are praising him like he's the next second coming? Come on now. He's just handing the ball to Christian McCaffrey right there and Deebo Samuel right there, and then throwing once or twice every few drive. Like, guys, let's calm down on Brock Purdy. And I thought the Cowboys were going to shut him up. We almost did. We almost had it. But we didn't execute.
I don't think he's a chump, but that system is. I mean, he has so many superstars around him that it's hard.
That's what we've been saying.
If he doesn't make mistakes,
put anyone in there.
It's kind of like the receiver conversation we just had. Like he has so many options that even like I mean,
It's too easy.
Any of the quarterbacks you mentioned, Jonathan, it's not really what I'm not like what I'm saying. Like I was going to use the quote, like what even a broken clock is right twice a day. Like even if you have a bad quarterback, if you have a good receiver, he's going to catch some, and it's going to elevate. So
But
it is hard to judge.
But you can't make the mistakes. Like Dak made mistakes. I mean,
that's what Purdy
if Dak
doing.
didn't throw, if Purdy threw one interception and Dak only threw one, didn't throw the second, then Cowboys might win.
The problem is Dak's got to do more than what Brock has to do. So it's a lot of forcing.
The systems are a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, although,
Either way, let's wrap this one up with picks. 49ers, Eagles. I had both these teams, but I had the 49ers. I'm regretting it a little bit after seeing the 49ers play against the Seahawks and against the Cowboys. I think the offense, for me, I'm a little worried because they only scored 19 points. So I'm still going to keep the 49ers, but I'm way more worried than I was to start when I did the bracket in general, but I'm still going 49ers.
I'm going the Eagles. If Brock Purdy and the 49ers for 3 quarters struggled against that Cowboys defense, I can only imagine what Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis are going to do to Brock Purdy and those 49ers offense. Eagles going to win this.
You haven't even mentioned Hassan Reddick or Sweat or Fletcher Cox or Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Gardner Johnson.
Yes.
I mean, it's endless.
Yeah, I got the Eagles as well for all those names and more. I mean, I think it's great. I hope for a good game. I'm respectful of the 49ers, really. Like, Shanahan's a great coach, could pull something. It's not a given. But I do see a path for the Eagles to win if we stay true to what we've been doing, and play our game, not theirs. So, but it's a great coach, great team. It's a system that I don't think any rookie quarterback could do what Purdy's doing. He's not a chump, but it's also like if he doesn't make mistakes, he has so much support around him that you pass it to Kittle, he's going to get some yards after the catch. So I still got the Eagles though because we have just as many fighters on our side. So, but it'll be a good game.
Yeah, so I had the Eagles beating the Bucs in the NFC Championship in my bracket. So I didn't see the 49ers getting here, but I had the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. I'm going to stick with that pick. I do think the Eagles will win this game. But just as I'm the same as Jared, I'm a little bit more concerned. And not because of how the Eagles have played, because they destroyed the Giants, obviously, but with how good the 49ers look. Jared, you seem to be opposite of me. I think, the 49ers look good. Their defense looks good. Their run game looks good. And I did some researching, and one of the reasons I'm nervous is because the Eagles have 3 losses this season, and in all 3 losses, they've had under 95 rushing yards, and the other team has had over 115 rushing yards. So when you look at these rush offenses, the Eagles have a good rush offense, but in terms of in the trenches for run game, the 49ers win that battle. They have the best run defense in the league, and they have a great rush offense. Not as good as the Eagles, but it's pretty high up there. And the Eagles, the way to beat them is typically to either run the ball or throw the ball in the middle of the field. Stay away from the pass rush, stay away from those great cornerbacks in Slay and Bradbury. So I am a little bit worried, but I do think that the Eagles will win the game.
Yeah, if the 49ers struggled against the Cowboys like that, believe me, I just like I predicted the Bengals and Bills unbiasedly, even if that's a word, I'm going to say that the Eagles are going to win by at least 10 points. Okay,
Dang.
The Eagles are going to dominate the 49ers. That's how frustrated I am because that was the Cowboys' game to win.
Yeah, I was like, I'll take that as an Eagles fan, but I feel like that's coming more from, like you said, it's from a frustrated Cowboys fan wanting the 49ers. But yeah, I want to win. I mean, obviously, sad for you, happy as an Eagles fan, but I was like, hey, I pictured you, Jonathan, saying like when the Bills lost, then the Cowboys lose, like, oh, the Bills lost, but at what cost? Like you got what you got what you were right. What a lot of us doubted you for weeks, months on end, but at what cost?
Yeah.
But Jonathan, Jared, you're going to transition us to the other side, the NFL.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, let's move to the AFC. Bengals Chiefs. I feel like this is deja vu. Last year, same scenario. Yes. Bengals Chiefs in Kansas City.
Yes.
But I think this time Bengals are near favored. They're like -1, or -1+1. It goes either way. Some say Bengals, some say Chiefs. Last year, Bengals were. Caleb, is that? What are you doing?
You guys hear this?
Is that the Manscaped beard hedger?
It really is. I'm looking
the
at
one
myself.
with 20 lengths.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Wow.
And it's waterproof.
I mean, I'm not in water right now, so I can't say. But I am on a podcast, trimming the beard a bit.
It looks so easy.
It actually, this is the first time I'm using it. Not to cut you off from your. I'm talking while I'm using it.
It's quiet
It's actually,
too.
you can actually, yeah, because it's not too annoying.
It looks seamless and
It's
smooth.
actually
too.
like,
Just
doing,
cut.
like this is the
No
first time I'm
nicks.
using it. I'm really liking it. I have been
Wow,
growing out the
and-
beard for this podcast so that our audience, hopefully, we'll see if we use this audio because there's a constant buzzing. But yeah, this is a great one. I wanted to use it for the first time, live reaction. I didn't want to do it while y'all were talking about your teams because I felt like it was too sad for the Eagles fan to be shaving his beard. The Cowboys and Giants were talking, but yeah, I'm gonna mute
It's
now.
so
but
easy to
actually-
use.
You can see, love the before
Look
and
at
after.
that.
Get rid of this mustache. Look at the
Wow.
mustache.
You're not even trying. You're doing a podcast and
Yeah,
shaving your beard
yeah, damn.
Casually shaving.
with
Wow.
the Manscaped beard hedger. Where can you find one of those?
You can find it at manscaped.com.
No,
and
link in our bio.
Link in bio. And use
Link
the
in
code
bio.
Dorm Debate if you like this.
Yeah, that's got to be so expensive. But how can I get a discount?
Hey, code Dorm Debate, my friends. It's hard to talk with. All right, for those listening, I was doing the cheeks, and now the mustache needs a little. I just can't talk. You can't shave a mustache and talk. It's hard. But yeah, use code Dorm Debate.
And what do you get when you use the code?
1% off.
20%
Wait,
off? There's no
20%
way it could be
off.
free shipping too.
Well, you bet it is when you use the code Dorm Debate.
Oh my god, that's amazing! I'm gonna go get one right now. And what was the
20% off. and
What was
free
the
shipping.
code? What was the code, Jonathan?
Oh, I'm like, you're really piling it on for me to keep talking. Use the code at Dorm Debate.
Dorm debate. Okay.
Oh my god, John, what was that again? What's the code and the percent and everything?
Free shipping, 20% off. Use code DormDebate at manscaped.com.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool. I'm gonna do that right now. That's so cool. Wow, that looks awesome. I thought they only did ball trimmers. Wow.
I assure you, this is not for that area, the body. This is right out of the box. It came charged too, so that made it really easy to do this.
Yeah, we love that.
Thank you.
Look at that.
Dang, what a difference!
Wow.
These are the before and after. Dang.
That's a
cool.
sexy man right there. God
Oh.
damn. Wow. Is it? I gotta turn my heat off. Too hot. My gosh.
Hey, anyone listening or watching, if you could look like this just like me too. Use the code Dorm Debate. I'm actually really impressed. That was legitimately the first time I used it. I really dig it. So happy for the partnership, Manscaped.
That's amazing. Wow.
Amazing.
Well, I forgot what I was talking about. I got lost in
Yeah.
Kayla's face.
You were talking about the Chiefs and the Bengals
Chiefs and
and
the
how
Oh, that's
it's
right.
just like
Thank you.
just like
Jonathan.
last year.
Oh.
Just like last year.
All right, sorry. Bengals were not favored last year. Actually, I remember Caleb and I picking the Bengals on the live show, and John and Jonathan were like laughing. They're like, "There's no way the Bengals are gonna win." And then like the game started, and we were still on live, and you're like, "Yeah, it's over. Chiefs won." And now it's the complete opposite. Now you see Jonathan
Well-
and John. They're now on the Bengals.
Huh.
No, well,
Don't
no, I mean-
deny it because I have it on live. I have recorded.
Well, I'm saying it went down to the very end.
It did,
for the
but you
Chiefs.
guys kept calling it. I remember it because I got pissed
We
off.
didn't say oh Bengals win. No, I didn't say that. I never said that.
No, you were saying you're like, up, Chiefs won. This is way over. This is so over.
Oh,
It was
okay,
like
yeah,
five
This
you're
doesn't
years
sound
right,
like a
you're
thing
right,
you
you're
guys
right.
would do, John.
You're right.
You
remember
even
it.
were saying it yourself. Don't lie.
You were
You
saying
weren't
yourself.
like,
Yeah,
nope,
you both
Bengals
were
are
all
still gonna
saying
win.
Who?
This is a
You
thing that y'all
weren't.
would do,
You,
especially if
you're
Jared was
telling me
angry.
at the end of the first quarter, you were like, no, I really think Bengals are gonna come back.
No,
No.
I picked the Bengals. It was only I remember being frustrated because I'm like, it's only the first quarter, and you guys keep saying it, and I was more and more frustrated. It was like so
Jonathan
annoying.
and I knew that the Bengals were fake. That's why.
Yeah, we knew it.
But now you know. Now you know that they're for real.
Yeah, but you
because
still didn't pick them. You picked them to lose.
I
to the
didn't pick
Bills.
them because
What changed?
for my I
They're better this
Yeah,
year
I
than
had
they
the
were
Bills.
last year.
I can
Yeah.
address it.
What's going on?
I had the Bills winning the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
They are out. Disappointing end yet again. Year in and year out, they keep getting. They get this far and then they lose, and it's the same old, same old. I think Stephon Diggs said the same thing. How does this keep happening, like year in and year out? How does this keep
Yeah.
happening? Like
You remember that
he was-
picture? You remember that? Sorry, I'm saying you remember that picture of him standing with his hands behind his
Yeah.
back and watching the Chiefs celebrate. He's still
They
standing
haven't made it since.
there. 3 years later.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
they
that.
have not made it. They haven't made it the conference championship since.
Well, that's the thing about this sport is that Diggs can say that about the Bills, Dak can say that about the Cowboys, and neither of you could be right because only one team ends up winning the whole thing. So that's a tough sport.
Yeah.
Only one team can win.
Only one team can win. And then, Jared, you were wrong once you picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl. You know their history, right? How they went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost all of them. Remember that in the 90s?
No, I wasn't born.
The Bills went to
First I
4
heard
straight
it.
The Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s, in I think 91 through 94. They lost all of them. The first one
remember.
against the Giants. The first one against the Giants. They should have won that one. The kicker missed the field goal. They're all holding hands. They thought they were about to win. Kicker missed the field goal. Second one, they lost to the Washington, I guess, Commanders or Redskins at the time. They lost to them. They got annihilated. The last two, guess who they lost to?
Oh, the team starts with a C.
No way.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Cowgirls?
Oh, that's who it was.
Both of them, yes. And so the Bills, they have bad luck.
But here's my
in
thing.
winning
you
the
saying
Super
they
Bowl.
Here's my
suck?
thing. Here's my thing.
What was that?
Are you saying they suck?
Yeah, they suck, and they have bad luck with winning the Super
They
Bowl.
do, yeah.
I guess it's just not supposed
Here-
to happen.
here's
It's
my
not
Well,
thing.
never
neither
gonna
do the Cowboys, though. They have bad luck
Here's
in the
my thing.
playoffs.
happen.
Oh
I mean,
boy.
we have 5 Super Bowls.
When
Jared,
when
your
I was
take.
looking at the bracket, I had thought, oh, the Bengals' year was last year. It's very rare for a team to go back to back to the Super Bowl, and we've seen a lot of NFC teams like the Panthers and the Falcons. They have that one run, and then it kind of fizzles out. And I kind of thought that was the same with the Bengals. I thought that was their year, and then maybe in a couple years down the road, maybe 2 or 3 years, then they'd have another one. But no way they can go back to back. And they proved me wrong. I mean, I've never been more like love-hate relationship with a guy like Joe Burrow, because this guy goes into Buffalo, blizzard, and he is just unfazed. Goes opening drive touchdown, then next drive touchdown, like unfazed, not showing any emotion, just straight stone-faced in Buffalo, which is one of the hardest places to win, given that the weather's so bad. And Josh Allen usually thrives in that type of weather. And it's so, like, I love that. I love that he could do that. And I like that he's a young player. He's cool and calm and collected, and he's everything you could want in a quarterback. And it's like, why is that not affecting him? Like, it kind of frustrates me that he is so stone cold
Why do
killer
you hate
in
him?
these away games. He goes to Kansas City and beats Mahomes. You're not supposed to do that. You go into Buffalo and you beat Josh Allen. You're not supposed to do that. Like, that's stuff that's not supposed to happen, and he's doing it. So while I do love it for the game and how he's just being amazing, a part of me is like, oh, I hope this isn't Tom Brady 2.0. Like, I hope to God it's not Tom Brady 2.0, because the next phase is this guy wins so much that people are going to hate him. And that's like the next phase of like this hero arc, is that people are going to hate him. And, the story goes on with Burrow. But for the Bills, I'm upset, and I don't want to make any excuses, because people are going to say the Bills defense had injuries, but the Bengals line was injured like crazy. Their line to begin the season and their offensive line now is completely different in every possible way. So while Bills fans want to be like, oh, the defense, we didn't have this guy, we didn't have this guy, we didn't have Von Miller, whatever. It's
Don't
like
even.
There's no excuses in your home stadium to lose like that. Away, like they were never even in it. That's the worst part. They were never even in it in your own house, and it was the first time, I think, in a long and since Josh Allen's been there, that Bills fans went into a game expecting to win and they lost. Because you go into Kansas City, people are like, all right, let's see if we could win this. And they don't win, and you're like, well, it is what it is. Then you go into Kansas City again, and then the overtime game happens, so now they're hung on that. Oh, if we just had a shot, we would have won. There's no disputing this. You got beat in the most royally fashionable way and disrespectful way possible by a guy that's basically 2 years into the league and has done what Josh Allen and the Bills are trying to do already last year and is now about to replicate it again. And so he did it on your own field. And so I just got to say this. The Bills have to be worried right now. You know, as long as Josh Allen's there, they do have a shot. And Stephon Diggs is there, they have a shot. Mm-hmm. But the window is so small now because you're going into next offseason with what are they, 25th in cap space. They're like minus $5 million in cap space. Poyer's up for grabs now. Mm-hmm. Devin Singletary's up for grabs. A couple more starters are up for grabs now. And now you're like, who are they going to pay? Then you go to the draft. You have one of the latest picks because you made it to your final 4 teams, or final 8. So now you have a late pick. How is this team going to get better than it already was, except to just rest and get everybody healthy? And a full healthy team could possibly make a run. But at this point in time, it's tough to be a Bills fan because if not this year, when? Like, when is this going to happen? And so as we look towards the Bengals and the Chiefs, you know, we'll talk about that later. But I want to get your thoughts on the Bills. And you know, John, you kind of called it. They always screw up when it matters most. And you followed that word. I remember you saying mid-season, you're like, don't let me pick the Bills. They're not going to win it. And you called it immediately. So what do you think needs to happen?
I mean, the Bills and the Cowboys are so similar. The Bills had the second best scoring defense in the NFL. The Cowboys had a top 5 scoring defense in the NFL. They both had a top 5 offense in the NFL. So how come they both go to the divisional round in the playoffs consistently and lose every time? It has something to do with injuries. Doesn't like it. It has something to do with injuries. It has something to do with just the team motivation and morale. It has something to do with the players. But when it comes down to it, Josh Allen and Dak Prescott were the 2 quarterbacks that had the most interceptions in the NFL this season. And when your best players don't play like your best players, you can't win. And I think it comes down to those 2 players. And I think it comes down to their best unit was their defense. And the Bills' defense let them down. They did not stop the Bengals once. I don't even know if they punted even once. But it was just it was just crazy because, Jonathan, I mean, like how does this happen every year? The Bills go to divisional, lose. Cowboys, divisional, lose. They're such good teams. How do they make it this far and just fall apart every time?
Well, you're comparing apples to oranges. The Bills were favored to win the Super Bowl. The Bills were favored to win the Super Bowl before the season began. The Cowboys weren't favored to win the Super Bowl. And
by you, they were.
Towards the end of the season. And actually, even when Dak got hurt, people wrote us off. Like, oh, Dak got hurt. The season's over. Bills are always projected or always like favored to win the Super Bowl. And so this is a huge disappointment on them.
I think that's why they make it so similar. So similar because if you ask every Cowboys fan, they say it's their year. And then the Bills are like, it's our year, finally. Mm-hmm. And you kind of are in the same drought, even though the Bills haven't won.
Oh, come on. They haven't won, yes. We're not in the same drought.
Yeah.
If Cowboys have ever made the Super Bowl,
the drought just feels just as bad.
Yeah.
No, the Bills is worse, I would argue. They put everything, like Jared, you said, they put everything on the line. They got Von Miller. They got all these guys. They're putting all the eggs in this basket to win. And they're rushing Josh Allen more. even though that's not good for him long term, they're still rushing him and all that. They're putting everything up to the table to win this Super Bowl this year, and they failed. They're projected. They were favored to win. Everybody picked them to win the Super Bowl. Okay, after last year, they're like, oh, next year it's a Bills year. So they were doing all these things. They only lost 3 games. This is a huge disappointment for the Bills. A huge one. The Cowboys, before the second or third game when the Cooper Rush was in, honestly, I didn't even know if they were going to the playoffs. Right? The Eagles were playing good. The Giants beat the Packers and all that. So it's the same comparison. The Bills, this is a huge disappointment. And Jared, you said, the draft picks and all that, getting all these players for this year. But not only that, these next few years, it's going to be tough because of Patrick Mahomes, but you also have to worry about Joe Burrow now. You really now know that Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes run the AFC. Mm-hmm. You have to get through both of them. And so how are you going to do that in the next few years?
At minimum.
Exactly. That's a good point. And Caleb, I want to get to you because I think with the Bills, when you first start the season, you think, all right, we just got to beat the Chiefs. Let's build a team to beat the Chiefs because if we get by them, we win because Chiefs run the AFC. And then they did that. They beat the Chiefs this year.
Yes.
They literally did
built
it.
the team around it. Yes.
And then you lose to the Bengals, and you're like, oh, now we have Joe Burrow to deal with. Now we got to go past Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. And not only that, but next year you got Trevor Lawrence, you got Justin Herbert. It's like Lamar Jackson wherever he goes. It's like, oh my God, it's getting harder and harder and harder.
It's getting harder and harder. Yes.
And you start to look at this playoff, and you're like, oh man, I think they missed a good opportunity. An injured Mahomes. You get to play against an injured Mahomes. And it's like, oh, there's so much there. But I want to say that
oh man,
we were John and I were looking back at some old videos from this season, and one of the first videos was MVP race. And Caleb, your MVP was Joe Burrow, which I don't know if he's gonna win it, but it is crazy that you pick him and then he goes right back to the AFC Championship. So you've been high on Burrow and the Bengals for the whole season. I don't think you've wavered too much. So were you picked the Bengals in the playoff, but were you shocked by this Bengals win?
John touched on a part of it, which was surprising, the injury part. If you had asked me if I didn't know, and you asked me what team had the offensive line starters out, I would have said the Bills. Josh Allen was under so much pressure, and that is a testament to what we talked about last year. That last year when the Bengals did make it to the Super Bowl, we knew that they had a roster of defensive talent that was young. So props to them to make it. Now you're just seeing them mature a little more. But it was for all the very real problems of what the Bengals had to deal with, the Bills were the ones that couldn't protect Allen. Allen had to run around, maneuver in the pocket. I joked a few weeks ago, Joe Burrow has experience having to navigate a collapsing pocket because he's done it so much. But the Bengals have improved. I think part of what you saw happen with the Bills is also on the defensive end. One was not being able to protect Allen, despite the other team having more injuries, if you will, and the other part was the Bills' defensive line not being able to get penetration. If I'm the Bills next year, I mean, part of this is kind of a deviating a little bit from the Burrow because I full transparency, I forgot I had him as MVP. I've been blinded by the Eagles' success, but I like Joe Burrow. He's got a fun personality, but part of it being I think the Bills need to that whole division for so long. I always say this was so bad with the Patriots were dominant that you kind of have to reevaluate what you're doing. This. You hit the nail on the head, Jared. For when I said minimum when Jonathan was talking, I was like, yeah, at minimum you have to deal with Mahomes and Burrow. That's for sure. But if Herbert develops and the Chargers get their stuff in gear, they could be surprisingly very good. Same with Lawrence. That was also, I don't think quite as in reach as the Cowboys game was, but that was a winnable game for the Jags.
And think about it, if Tua plays that game, they actually could have won. That's the crazy part. They could have been upset in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first loss for the Bills.
Another team the Bills have to worry about. The Dolphins.
And but this is part of the NFL, part of the game. I think so many years of that, a lot of those divisions not being as good can rub off on you. I think you kind of take a thing from the look at the NFC East. I know we're biased, but we had NFC as a whole. You've had to deal with some great quarterbacks. Same with within the division. And one of the remedies that gives your team the hype it needs to make plays that you didn't see in the Bengals Bills game. Someone had used the word dismantled, which I think is a testament to the coaching. Despite the injuries the Bengals had, not to say they're bad coaching on the Bills, but they were able to get pressure. They were able to protect their quarterback better. They were able to utilize their weapons. So I think the Bills not having a strong defensive line, that being the capital, they were missing Von Miller that game, and they paid him, and he got injured. That happens, but you got to have depth at that position. I mean, I know I'm bringing up the Eagles, but you look at the 49ers when they lose Bosa, like how that defense produces. Like I think any team you can be strategic in investing in that. So the way to compete against these teams with great quarterbacks is to crush them on the defensive line, like force them to scramble, make them uncomfortable, ruin their timings. And the Bills just weren't able to do that. And Burrow and the Bengals were so efficient that they were able to have, 90 yard. I mean, I don't know, 90 yard, but just like third down completion. Like just
Burrow gets the ball out at like record time now.
Yeah,
he's getting it
He
out.
knows. He understands the game. That's a smart quarterback. That's an elite quarterback. He understands the game, understands what the defense is doing, so he knows he's going to get the ball to. That's an elite quarterback.
It's fast. And and so it's going to be interesting. I don't know, the history.
Well, yeah, let's transition.
Also, just to piggyback off what Caleb said in terms of coaching, I truly believe if Brian Dabble, if he was a Bills offensive coordinator, they would win the game.
Yeah, I think
a lot of people have been saying that.
Probable.
He was like, he didn't have an interception in like his whole playoff career, and then all of a sudden, they're like, without Dayball, he throws like 4 in 2 games.
Well, people were saying they don't have an identity. Like, it was an interesting choice of words. I don't know if I agree with it, but they were saying, I think for the defense of the Bills, they need a really good D-line. And for the offense,
it's unfortunate Von Miller was out.
Yeah, and they pay them the money. They try, but you gotta have depth. It's this is part of the game. But someone said they don't have an identity on the offense, and that was like, I don't know how true. I mean, outside of Josh Allen, I don't know if you guys would agree with that.
Other than the Bengals put 2 guys on Diggs, basically a lot of plays, and we saw Gabe Davis step up last year. But throughout this whole season, can you remember like anybody else popping off? It was like Diggs, or it was really nobody.
Really.
Like Gabe Davis had like 2 games with 2 touchdowns, but other than that, he wasn't anything.
Yeah.
McKenzie, Beasley, Knox really only lately showed up.
Man, they were relying on Beasley for those first down conversions. Holy crap. He was making some great catches, but that's the problem. Your main guy is Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
And the same with the run game we talked about a few weeks ago, how many times they ask Allen to pass it. It's like they don't have a – you look at the Cowboys, like as long as Dak has a good run game, they could win games. Eagles, RPO, Hurts is running, but they have a good run game. Giants, Barkley and Jones, if Barkley's healthy, opens up a lot. The Bills, it's just Allen, and Allen's phenomenal, but it just feed Diggs.
And it baffles me.
Yeah.
It baffles me how like the Bengals, they're able to feed Jamar Chase, and then the Vikings, for example, Justin Jefferson he's able to have great games even when they're playing bad, right? Why can't Diggs have great games like that?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? The coach has to find a way to get him open, put him in slot, put him like you have to rotate him to get your best player the ball, and they weren't able to do that. He's the best receiver. You got to find ways to give him the ball. You can't have 8 yards for a big critical playoff game like that. Jamar Chase was shining on their side because of the coaches, and also I guess T. Higgins is okay, but the coaches made sure they found a way to get the best player the ball, and that's what you saw.
Yeah, and it came back to bite on what we talked about a few weeks ago was not a dominant rusher. I mean, Singletary's good. They have Hines, but none of those guys are like a Barkley or Sanders or
there's
Pollard.
a lot of,
there needs to be a piercing, running back, and they don't really have.
There's a lot of good running backs coming up in free agency, but they can't pay them. And Singletary's gone this year, so now it's Naheem Hines.
Well, James Cook will be number 1. I think that's good enough. I mean, Chiefs have been rotating guys at running back, and they always do well. Yeah,
they don't have a guy that quite. I mean, the Bills don't have a guy that like Pacheco is playing so well, like just that cutting running back. I think the Bills need that because They are all good, and Hines is a great player too, but they don't have that cutting, like that running back that can really eat you up and that can come through in big games. And
or when you're leading and you just need to
yeah.
run the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a big franchise name, but I feel like the Hines and Singletary more. I wonder what their Madden receiving stats are compared to the running, because they're great. They're great in the scheme, but I don't know. That'd be part of what the Bills would look at if I was the Bills.
We were live for the Jags-Chiefs game, so we kind of got an idea of, all of our thoughts for that game as Mahomes was injured, getting back in the game, and who knows if Jags could have won that if Henne was starting or not, or filled in or not. But either way, Mahomes got it done, and now we have a high ankle sprain for Patrick Mahomes on his throwing back foot. They say he's fine. They say he's progressing okay, and they're in high spirits, and he has no concerns about starting this week. Other people are saying it would be a miracle if he starts, and if he does start, he's not going to put a lot of pressure on it and all this stuff. But as far as reports on Tuesday, it's looking like he's going to play. He's definitely not going to be near 100%, but even near 100%, this guy is still Patrick Mahomes. So you have to account for one of the greatest quarterbacks. Let's talk about the Chiefs and the Bengals. So the picks, let's make some picks. Let's throw some takes around as we kind of wrap up this podcast. So for me, I didn't have this Bengals-Chiefs matchup. I had the Bills beating the Chiefs. So with that being said, if the Bengals beat the Bills, I got to switch. I got to go with the Bengals beating the Chiefs, especially with an injured Mahomes. I know it's going to be really difficult for Burrow to walk into Arrowhead and beat him, but he's already done it. Burrow's undefeated against Patrick Mahomes. And, yeah, I just – this guy frustrates me. I hate it. He's going to go in stone-faced, probably opening drive, and he's going to go in, just stare them all in the face and throw a Jamar Chase touchdown first play. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I'm not going to bet on him this time. I'm not going to bet against him this time. I mean, so for me, I got Bengals. I know John and Jonathan, do you both have Bengals in the Super Bowl or no?
Yeah, my bracket.
Sean had Bengals.
My bracket, it was Bengals beating Eagles in the Super Bowl.
And Jonathan, you have Chiefs.
I have Chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah, Jonathan, do you think the same thing? Because we both had this matchup, Chiefs Bengals.
That's true.
In AFC Championship.
Yeah, and it's gonna be another close one. Like it's gonna be another close match, like it always is. But I think Patrick Mahomes is more determined this time because in the playoffs, again, that's when legacies are formed. And Patrick Mahomes knows he has to come ready to play. And yes, he has a high ankle sprain, but just like Joe Burrow is smart enough to just get the ball out and he knows the defensive coverage and stuff. Patrick Mahomes, his skill is he's able to read defenses and stuff, but he's able to extend plays and always keep his eyes down the field, and he knows where all his receivers are. He's always able to keep plays alive. And so it's going to be a true battle between both of them. But yeah, the Chiefs defense scares me. And so I think Burrow's he can score these against this Chiefs defense. And Eli Apple on the Bengals, and the Bengals have a good defense basically. And that's why Josh Allen had trouble this past weekend. So what you see with the Bengals defense, they're smart. They don't blitz Mahomes, right? That's what they did second half last year. What they do is they only rush like three guys, and then everybody else is back, because now they know Mahomes likes to extend plays and run around and stuff. So everybody's like, stay in your man, always stay in coverage. Don't try to come up and get him. Stay in coverage. Everyone stay in coverage. It's tough to make plays like that. And so if you're smart enough and disciplined enough to stay in coverage and not try to go get him, then you give him trouble because that's his strength. He likes to extend plays and then make plays from that. And that's why some coaches said he likes to do street ball, right? It's not like Joe Burrow where he actually understands the game. Mahomes does too, but he actually knows who should get the ball within 2-3 seconds. He knows who should get the ball, right? Mahomes, he likes to extend plays and then make plays from that. And so, yeah, it's gonna be tough, but we'll see. I'm sure Andy Reid has plays ready for the Bengals. Again, these are the types of games that make or break legends in the game, right? This is going to be, I think it's going to be an ongoing rivalry between the Chiefs and the Bengals. Joe Burrow versus Mahomes. This is going to be like, again, Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning in the AFC Championship always.
Yeah, the man
Josh
of
Allen,
volume.
he's not in the picture. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. That's what I said. This is how it's going to be. And so we'll see what happens. But it's going to be a close one. But I'm still picking the Chiefs. I think they'll be ready.
Yeah, I had this matchup as well in the AFC Championship, but Jared, you touched on it before. I don't really think everybody knows what they're about to witness. Burrow is basically the owner of the AFC. He's about to go 4-0 against Mahomes. He's about to go back-to-back Super Bowls, and he's going to win it this year. And the Bengals should be regarded as the number one team in the AFC moving forward throughout the next 5 years. This team is legit.
5?
Yeah. Mahomes.
I just wanted this game.
No. So I'm giving you predictions for 5 years.
I'm traveling.
Should I?
They
Yeah.
have a potential.
Caleb, save this time code. Save the time code, and we'll
5
put it
years
in a
from
time
now,
capsule.
they will have at least 2 Super Bowls, including this year. So this year, they'll have 1, and then they'll win another one within the next 4 years. But anyway, this might be the biggest upset of NFL history if the Chiefs win. There's no way the Chiefs win this game, guys. I don't know how anybody could pick the Chiefs. Guys, the Bengals beat the Chiefs earlier this year. The Chiefs just came off a game where they threw it to Kelsey, and Kelsey had 14 catches. The next most catches was Tony, who doesn't even really play on this offense, and he had 5 catches, which is his season high. So Kelsey had 14 catches, and what we saw the Bengals do to the Ravens was stack the box, stop the run. What we saw the Bengals do to the Bills was bracket Diggs. They put 2 guys on him basically every play. What they're going to do is they're going to put 2 guys on Kelsey. Mahomes is not going to be able to extend plays. Who do you trust to get separation off the line of scrimmage? While Mahomes can't extend plays, he's going to have to get it off quick. The only guy I trust is Tony, but you can't go to him every time. They're going to have a very, very, very tough time scoring points. They're not going to hit 20 points, in my opinion. They're not going to be able to score 20.
There's a lot of things.
It's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's
my
a lot of
score
things.
prediction is more like 27-17. I think the Bengals are going to win by 10, and I'd be absolutely shocked if the Chiefs won this game. Even if Mahomes was healthy, I would still pick the Bengals. But now that he has a high ankle sprain, do you realize this is like a 2 to 3 week injury? This isn't something where you can just be like, yeah, after a week it's a pain tolerance. No, it's not really a pain tolerance thing. You just can't do it. You can't scramble.
They're gonna put some injection in there. He should be fine. He's gonna be numb by the time the game starts. And there's many ways to mitigate like any defense. Andy Reid's smart. He knows he's been doing this for a while. He's gonna find a way. There's plays you can do to mitigate whatever defense they're in, whether you double team Kelsey or whatever. Throw a screen to Tony. There's a lot of things you can do. If they want to go deep and play deep and stuff, fine, let them do that. Get 5 yards, 10 yards every play. Let them
Jonathan,
do that.
okay.
Or
There's
many things you can do.
But it's just the Chiefs have played the top 2 teams in the AFC this season. They played the Bills in the regular season. They played the Bengals. They lost both of those games. They're not the Chiefs of last year. They're struggling without Tyreek Hill. I hate to say it, but they are. They're relying on Kelsey too much. The thing is,
look, the Bills, they play every time they play the Chiefs, they want to play them their best, right?
Everybody does. Everybody does.
Yeah, because
But the Chiefs, it's not the
Like,
Chiefs' year. You know it's not the Chiefs' year. It's not. They lost to the best teams in the AFC. They're losing.
That was regular season. Buddy. That was regular season.
It was like a field goal.
I think
Bills, for audience listening, it was regular. They're
They
worthy matchups for
both
comparison.
games were a field goal difference
It was
between
close.
Bills, Chiefs, and Bengals.
Yeah, they're
Chiefs.
close. Both close.
But it's a good point John brings up. It is interesting to say that I think the Bills went to overtime, right? And then did they or no?
No, it was in regulation.
But-
No, they didn't.
But then Bengals won by 3.
Yeah.
So that becomes
They're
a
all
game.
close.
At that
Always
point,
close.
it's a game of inches. I think where the
Exactly.
ball bounces. But
Exactly.
It's still
That's
one
one
Jonathan,
ball,
I
chance.
can't believe you're picking the Chiefs. I mean,
Dude, this game's gonna be neck and neck like it always is. It's just by chance who's gonna make the more plays, who's gonna make a mistake and stuff. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's
but
gonna
you
gonna
know
come down
high,
to
you know ankle sprains. You've played football. You've played sports. Haven't you seen
they're
guys
gonna-
with high ankle sprains or like?
They're gonna inject it. He's not gonna feel the pain during the game. They have all this stuff. As Shannon Sharp said it, like
I was
he
gonna
was
say.
he had injection like he said for 11 weeks.
Okay. Wait.
one
I have
season.
one question for you.
And it's like he had an ankle sprain. He
I
said
know,
he injected
but
it before every
I
game.
have
He
one
felt fine.
question
That
That's what they
can't
do.
be healthy.
Whoever's picking. Wait, Caleb, are you picking the Chiefs or the Bengals?
I'm picking the Bengals.
Okay. So this question is only
wait a
for Jonathan.
Well, because I had Bills Chiefs in that divisional in that game. So
okay. But you have Chiefs going into the Super Bowl.
I'll let you go in a second, John. Just bouncing off what Jonathan was saying. Yeah, I believe there are different grades to a high ankle sprain. It's not a pretty injury. It sounds light because it's a sprain, but guys get that in the regular season. They're potentially out 2 to 6 weeks at times. Like, it's very painful. We'll mention the live how we talked about he did play. Props to his toughness. It's a legendary thing to do, but at what cost? So the reason I'm part of why Shannon Sharp said this on his show, that he's played through it, that they probably will have injections, do everything they can to rest it, give him his body time to heal. But this is interesting coming from Shannon Sharp, legendary tight end. But he was saying with a high ankle sprain, again, it depends what grade, what specifics went down. But he projected, he's a commentator, take it with a grain of salt, but he was saying at best, Chiefs could hope Mahomes would be at 60%. Which, when he was talking up to that number, I was like, oh, I was probably gonna say 80 or something. 60% of whatever that means in terms of how it's gonna heal or how you're gonna feel on it. That really is why I'm going Bengals and why I adjusted there. But there's more to it. But John, you were saying,
Yeah, Jonathan. Okay. I know the Bengals are going to double Kelsey. So let's assume that Kelsey ends the game with four or five catches. Let's say 5 for, let's say, 70 yards. Okay, you're not going to win 5 catches, 70 yards, no touchdowns, because they're going to double him in the red zone. Okay, so tell me, please. I know you're saying, oh, Andy Reid's good at, drawing stuff up. Okay, but when it comes down to actually making plays, which of these receivers is going to separate themselves and take over the game? Can you really see Valdez-Scantling taking over this game?
Well,
or Tony
McCall Hardman
or
play?
Juju? What?
Is McCall Hardman? Do you know?
Hardman, I think he's been out. I don't know if he's even been practicing.
Okay.
It's not going to be a receiver. I already know the answer.
Yeah, even if it's not him. Okay, yeah, you have running backs in the backfield that can catch the ball and make some plays from that. But the thing about you saying doubling Kelsey, they can't double Kelsey.
Yes, no, they are. They're gonna.
The deep. Hey, the Chiefs have deep threats. Okay, both
Who?
receivers I think can get.
No, just Valdez-Scantling is their fastest guy, and he sucks.
No. I mean, they can go deep. They can go deep and give that deep.
All right,
threat.
so
If
give me
Mahomes
one
throws it
player
far,
who you think is going to be their best player other than Kelsey.
I mean, there's Tony. He can go. He's fast.
I want to say one thing just really quick, and I told John this, and I'm a little worried. Sky Moore has not.
No.
Game
Okay,
yet.
Jared, come
he
on.
has not had a breakout game yet.
You can't just ask a guy that hasn't done anything all season to be like,
asking him.
Oh my gosh, can you be our number one receiver this game
him.
and win the AFC Championship? He's a rookie.
No. I'm not asking him. It
You're
may just
telling him?
happen. It may just be like, oh shoot, Sky is in the right place, right time, and things happen. He's elusive. He's fast.
And there's another thing the Chiefs haven't had. The Chiefs haven't had a good running back really when they've played the Bengals, right? Pacheco.
Okay. Oh, no. So if you're saying the Bengals, Bengals are going to easily score on the Chiefs. The Chiefs can't just run the ball. The Chiefs are going to have to throw it.
No. And it's gonna balance. You just have to balance it out. Usually, again, they can't put every back. They can't put everyone in back there and expect Mahomes to throw it every play. Now they actually have a run threat with Pacheco. Pacheco's gonna get 10 yards every play. All right, you're gonna put everybody back there. Keep on giving the ball to Pacheco. Keep on giving the ball to Pacheco. Slow screen right. Keep on giving the ball to Pacheco. That's what's gonna happen. So now they actually have a true run threat, and Mahomes, we know what he can do. I think it's a more difficult offense to stop now. The Bengals. It's a more difficult task for the Bengals. Last year,
wait.
He's been okay.
You're saying
I've always known
you're
that.
saying the Bengals' task this year is tougher than it was last year?
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying you'd rather play against the Chiefs with Mahomes at 60% than play against the Chiefs with Mahomes at 100% and Tyreek Hill there? You
funny,
might
right?
be mentally
Because-
insane.
No.
might be out of your.
No. Now we know what Pacheco can do.
Why are you acting like Pacheco's this monster of a running back?
Dude, I should be a recruit. I should be like a recruiter or something a scout. Basically, I should be an NFL scout. I know talent when I see one. Pacheco is a star, and the Chiefs are going to use him as such. give the ball to Pacheco. Mahomes doesn't have to do as much. Give the ball to Pacheco. Mahomes can throw here and there. Give the ball. The Bengals can't do the same defensive stuff they did last year. This is a different team now. This is a different team. So you say double Kelsey. They can't double Kelsey every play. Again, they have deep threats. All right, you want to try to double Kelsey? All right, then the safety's gonna have to, or the corner's gonna have to cover like one person, one-on-one most plays. If you're gonna put like two people on him, right? Usually the safety helps that tight end, right? And so.
Okay, but they did it to Diggs. They did it to Diggs, and Gabe Davis wasn't
open
always open all the time.
No team in the playoffs wants to give up big plays. That's why they usually. You said they double Kelsey. I don't think they're going to double.
They
Kelsey.
will watch. You'll see the tape.
They rather make Kelsey catch like 10 times in one drive than like have one person.
No, they wouldn't.
50-yard bomb.
I will guarantee you that Kelsey does not end up with the most catches on the Chiefs.
I think what's difficult for the Bengals this time around is like what you were just saying, John, the unknown. It's like, all right, we bracket Kelsey. Who will they go to? Because last year it was like, all right, get Kelsey and then Hill. And
That's
it's like
true.
Kelsey
yeah.
and Hill.
I agree with that.
Now it's like,
I agree with
that. It's like,
that.
who do you stop? But at the same time, I see what you're saying with is like, none of these guys have gone off really.
No.
Juju maybe went off twice this year, but like, they don't have that guy that could go off, or we haven't seen go off because, Tyreek Hill's been there all these years.
Are you when y'all say that? Are you going off? Are y'all going off of drops or what? Because Mahomes picks whoever he wants to throw to. He throws it to Kelsey because that's his friend.
No, I'm not saying drops. So I'm saying like proven receivers. Like there's not many in this group that you can say, he's had a consistent run. No, I'm just saying. I'm just putting out. I'm trying to give both sides of the argument, Jonathan.
No, it's like the Patriots with Brady. Like there wasn't remember Brady? There wasn't a lot of superstar receivers, but they were all really good because it was Tom Brady and elevating the thing he would do. Sounds a little bit like that. And Kelsey seems to be playing a little bit like how they couldn't stop what was his name in the Super Bowl with the Patriots. Those guys that are this is sometimes you have a player that shows up receiving and you just can't. The simplest thing. Edelman, yeah.
Edelman.
And then I was thinking last year with the Rams too, obviously.
Well, the thing is John's right in the fact that Kelsey only has one touchdown in all the times he's played the Bengals with Joe Burrow. So they do a pretty good job of
containing him,
bracketing
him, bracketing, containing,
limiting,
making him maybe go off for a drive, but other than that, they're gonna shut him down. So their mindset is what John's saying. It's like make Sky Moore make a play, make Kadarius Toney make a play.
I'm gonna make Valdez Scantling go for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. If that happens, yep, you won.
Well,
okay.
It's the problem. I was gonna say Mahomes is the guy to do that. Like if you're gonna have two, it's like Brady or Mahomes could make this. But is
Mahomes at 60%?
They're not no names though. Yeah, that's
true.
That's why I'm going Bengals.
There's both.
But yeah, that's why it's so because it's a good point you brought up. Like Mahomes being injured. I don't know if I fully agree with you, Jonathan, on the ratio of percent injury or not. But the Bengals not really knowing how the Chiefs are going to respond to the injury, and only the Chiefs knowing how much it's affecting the play, is going to make it really hard to strategize against. Like, it is a weakness, but they can make that a strength,
right,
which is an interesting way to look at it. And I do think the Chiefs are going to be a big problem because the Bengals almost lost to the Ravens, and the Chiefs, when they have Jones, they can get pressure much more efficiently, and they have some smart schemes there too. So I mean, I did pick the Chiefs against the Bills when it was the Chiefs. I'm picking the Bengals because I think it'll be a legendary thing if Mahomes can come there limping and hobbling and still beat Burrow. That's not a dig against Burrow, but more maybe another notch on Mahomes' legend status. Like,
exactly,
even 60% he beat Burrow. Like, that's going to be such a thing. Whereas if Burrow wins, it is like, okay, well, Mahomes is hobbling out there. The reason I'm going the Bengals is they have trade-offs out there, and we watched last week that a lot of teams would rather have a 60% Mahomes than almost anyone else. But it's at what cost is my thinking. Like, those things, after the adrenaline sits, you can hit injections and stuff, but your body is it's not impossible. But I wonder how they're going to respond. So I'm picking the Bengals for what I've seen, but both teams are beatable by the other. I'm hoping it's going to be a fun. If it's another 27-24 to the Bengals, that'll be fun. But I won't be mad if the Chiefs win. Andy Reid reunion with the Eagles in the Super Bowl? I don't think anyone would be upset.
It's still in play.
That is possible.
Still in play. Can we please utilize this new overtime rule? The 1 year we put it in and no one goes into overtime.
We did it for the Bills. They did it for the Bills, and they couldn't even make it to the
Jared,
I know. What the heck?
Jared, when you say you don't like Burrow, you sound a little bit like what I imagine a lot of NFL executives were. Because when we send the refunds in, and then Zach Taylor was like,
yeah.
Zach Taylor. It's funny to watch his humor because I don't know the guy obviously at all, but it was like he was so dead faced. But it's like, yeah, we feel bad we keep winning games that it starts a headache for the logistic people in the NFL, having to.
That's what I'm saying.
I knew they were in trouble.
To happen like this.
Yeah, I knew they were in trouble when they started. I don't know, they were talking about that. I was like, these guys don't know football. They actually think that it's going to be the Chiefs and the Bills. I knew the Bengals were going to win the whole time. That's why.
So did I.
If you know football, you know the Bengals
it was
are
the
going to
easiest thing to pick.
Yeah, but you guys are about to see a Michael Jordan-esque.
Jonathan, let it go. It's
60%, and he wins.
Jonathan,
this is going to be
it doesn't always happen. I'm trying to help you pick.
Oh, I can't. Oh,
Jonathan, I'm trying to help you be right for once. Can you look through the Texas quarterback thing? It doesn't always work like a Michael Jordan crazy finish, like Mahomes pulls it out.
No, this is
just go with the team that's going to win. It's not that hard.
Besides Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes is going to be the greatest quarterback to ever play the game.
Jonathan,
and you guys are disrespecting him.
Jonathan, I'll give you one last chance. This is your last chance to change your pick. You can be right about both games. You could pick Bengals and Eagles and be right about both. Do you want to do that?
Oh, you guys are gonna be surprised. I tell you, you're gonna be
Jonathan,
surprised.
Oh my gosh,
you're gonna be shocked. I can't wait to see your faces. Y'all gonna be shocked.
For once, can you take me up on my offer and change your pick just for the fun of it?
Yeah.
Hey, once Chiefs win, I want all y'all to say, "Oh wow, Patrick Mahomes, we have to
Texas are Texas."
Flowers. It's not about Texas. I'm just telling you the facts.
No, I'll sing it. I'll sing the Texas State song.
Okay.
Chiefs win.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Jonathan,
guys,
please. One last
really
chance before we end this. Funny. One last chance. Yes or no? Do you want to change your pick and be right?
I'm gonna be right. The Chiefs are gonna win. You're gonna be surprised.
Okay. Nobody can say I didn't try. I'll come back on here. I'm gonna come on here and I'm gonna say, Jonathan, I tried. What? Why didn't you pick Bengals? And you're gonna give some excuse and why you were wrong.
I watched my film. This is my final pick. I'm not biased at all. I'm not being biased.
Wait, hold on. One more question. Are you really trying with this pick?
I'm trying. No, not biased at all. This is the actual what's gonna happen. I'm telling you. I watched the film. I studied both of these guys. This is what's gonna happen.
Now, if Mahomes, okay, because we're going long here, I realize now. But if Mahomes, say the injury gets worse and they have to put Henny in, does your pick change, Jonathan? Or are you still picking the Chiefs?
That even more reassures him. That reassures him that they're going to win.
No, I'll let you know once it happens. I'll let you. No, I don't think Henny's that bad, but yeah, we'll see.
It's hard to compare to Mahomes. Fair enough. And the one sample size was too small, but it was good. But okay.
All right, so we have Jonathan, the only one picking the Chiefs, and I'm the only one who picked 49ers. So
all right,
we'll see what happens. But I'll tell you one thing. I can guarantee that the Super Bowl matchup will not be the Chiefs and the Niners.
It can't be.
There's no way that can happen because of our top 15 stat. Remember those three statistics that you have to be top 15 in all three to win a Super Bowl. It's happened every year since 2011 except for 2020. The 49ers and the Chiefs aren't on that list. So there is no possible way that those two could meet because then we would have a fluke year. But
that's why you're going. Okay.
I mean, it could.
It could, but it's not statistically unlikely. So it's either going to be, it's probably going to be Bengals, Eagles, or Bengals, 49ers, or Eagles and Chiefs, or Eagles, Bengals, whatever.
Yeah, I'd rather.
But I'm telling you, it will not be 49ers and it will not be Chiefs.
Well, I hope it's not a repeat, because we've already seen the Chiefs 49ers, right?
Yeah, that would be boring.
So that's the other thing. It's already happened in history. We have already seen it.
Yeah. So
and the 49ers are kind of like the Bills, where they get to the championship but they can't win. It's gonna be like that.
What was with Kaepernick and was that against Baltimore?
Yeah,
it's against Baltimore.
Wow, dang, that's a long way.
when the lights went out.
Yeah, the Oreo. I remember
yeah,
the because the
that changed
Oreo
the game.
that did change the game.
Jacoby
The
Jones.
Har Bowl. That's what it was.
Right, that is
The Har
crazy.
Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine his parents.
All right, let's turn the lights out on this podcast because we're going a little too long.
Is this
Cool
our,
Bowl.
is this our
thank you guys
shortest
for-
one of the season?
It's our shortest one yet.
We had 2 games and went disproportionate.
Hey, thank you for bearing with us. We could talk about this for hours. I mean, there's so many scenarios
How many
and things
legitimate
that we
disagreements?
didn't even hit yet.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things we could talk about. But thank you guys for bearing with us through this podcast. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And go over to our Instagram and our TikTok at Dorm Debate Podcast. Follow us over there. We're coming out with great videos there. And make sure you follow our chalkboard. We'll be posting during all the playoff games. They're all on Sunday, right? Yeah, they're all Sunday. So we'll be posting in there. No live this week. John will be gone. So no live. But thank you to everyone who joined the live. I really appreciate all your guys' support. And yeah, we will see you guys next week, hopefully with a Eagles-Bengals matchup.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
that'd be nice.
Chiefs, Eagles.
I think that'd be the funnest one. All right. Thanks for tuning
All right.
in.
Thank you guys for watching. As always, we'll see you guys next week.